What's going on, everybody? This is Z33 here back to a brand new video. I'm a little late on this because March Madness did start today. This is the day one of the first round of March Madness. It is a 64, technically 68 team in a bracket numbered 1 through 16. C 1 through 16. One winner, win in advance, lose and you go home. In my opinion, it's the best sporting event in the entire world, besides probably the FIFA World Cup. It's my favorite time of the year. Funny anecdote: when I was in college, when March Madness would hit every year, I would not go to class for a couple days, if not a week or two in a row, and would just stay at home in my apartment all day watching March Madness. Still kept the grades up, kinda, but I definitely out of there. Enjoy March Madness. It's my favorite thing in the world. I love sharing it. For the past, I think, 3 or 4 years, I've done YouTube series on it where I just kind of go over. First off, in the first, you can kind of see the games going up over here. I'm a bit late. I should have done this yesterday. I didn't even think about it. But done it for about 4 years. Where start off Selection Sunday, which was obviously today's Thursday. Going over like my thoughts of who got in, the seeding, and my opinion on it, and then day by day I do the reactions to the games, the upsets, the big time players, stuff like that. So upload this video the instant it's done. But for now, we're just going to talk about the bracket itself, what we got. We've already had some upsets today. Let's go ahead and go through it. Starting off, number one overall seed is Duke. That is my personal favorite team. I have been to Duke a few times back when Coach K coached, so big Duke fan. Know that's the most hated team in America. They have the number one overall seed versus number 16 seed Siena. Duke coming into the tournament does have two players injured. Two starters actually. Caleb Foster, their oldest player, I believe he's a junior or a senior. I can't remember. Great defender, great driver. Not really a flashy offensive player, but he has had games where he has played really great offensively. But obviously the leader of the team. He is out until they make the Final Four, maybe even the entire rest of the year. That's a big loss. Second starter, arguably a bigger loss, is Patrick Gumba, who was a center, big man down low along with Cam Boozer. He is a great defensive player, very, very big, arguably one of the biggest and strongest players in the entire nation. Great rebounder, big physical presence down low, and while Duke has won without him, they have felt the loss of his presence greatly, and they do say that he will be back as long as they advance, maybe in this second round, Sweet 16, but having him back would be huge for Duke. They desperately need at least Gumba back to. It's still a great team, but I think they need Gumba back to make a run at the championship. And we got 8 seed Ohio State and TCU. These 8 and 9 seeds, obviously they're the two closest seeds, are always a 50-50 split of who wins and who loses. So normally, when these two teams play, once one wins, almost half of the brackets in America or across the world are already incorrect. I think it's to get a perfect bracket, the chances are 1 in 16.8 quintillion. So basically, it's never gonna happen ever. More likely to get struck by lightning, more likely to win the lottery, etc., etc., and do a perfect bracket. Sorry, they get a perfect bracket. So yeah, in that first 8-9 seed team plays, half the brackets in America are already boom toast. Kind of a toss up there. Ohio State has definitely been a peak and valley team. I don't have a lot of confidence in them. TCU, however, they are a 9 seed. They have played in the Big 12, which is a very, very tough conference. Very, very one of the best conferences in America the past 5 years. But they have played teams really close, and they played a lot of great teams and have been competitive. So they're not a bad team. They're definitely a sleeper 9 seed, I would say. Like if Duke has 2 players out and they're not playing well, they could have some trouble with TCU for sure. St. John's, a 5 seed versus number 12 Northern Iowa. Northern Iowa back in the day, about half a decade ago, were a deadly opponent. A great Midwestern team, always performing very well, always had very, very little losses, made a lot of splashes in the tournament, Past 5 years, so they haven't really been very, very good. I think it's the first time they've been back in tournament since like 2019 or something, I believe. But they're back in the tournament as a 12 seed. Now, we all know about the 5 and 12 seeds. One of the most common upsets to happen is the 5 and 12. However, they are facing probably the best 5 seed by a long shot, St. John's, who arguably should be potentially a 3 seed, 3 to 4 seed, maybe even a 2 seed. They are a dangerous team. I think they beat UConn in the conference tournament, but UConn's a 2 seed and they're a 5 seed. Um, Rick Pitino, one of the best coaches of all time, legendary coach, longtime coach. So Northern Iowa has this would be honestly if Northern Iowa beats this St. John's, I would argue that that would definitely be the nail in the coffin. There would be no brackets left. But you never know. 4 seed Kansas versus Cal Baptist. Now Kansas has lost their star player, Derek Peterson, and is out for the rest of the year. However, he did miss quite a bit throughout the year. In my opinion, not a championship team by any stretch of the imagination. I personally don't see them getting out of the second round. I do think that they lose St. John's, but Bill Self still a great coach, and you never know. 6 seed Louisville versus 11 seed South Florida. Now Louisville last year was a high seed and got beaten early. They did lose. They also lost a player, their star freshman. I forget his name. Their star freshman, who was a big part of their offensive firepower, is out for the remainder of the season. Now he has also missed a considerable amount, like a lot, like maybe close to half the season with injuries. So Louisville is still pretty much the same team without him. They've had a lot of experience without him. They're playing South Florida, so look for Louisville to right the ship and try and make a deep run this year. However, they got it tough road ahead of them. They got 3 seed Michigan State versus North Dakota State. Michigan State is a great team, March Madness team. A lot of success in March Madness. 7 seed UCLA versus 10 UCF. UCLA is a sleeper. I think they are a absolute sleeper. They got Dent, who is an offensive juggernaut. Previously went to the Lobos from Mexico. He is a great offensive weapon, and he made a splash last year in March Madness. Playing 10 seed UCF. Probably a popular upset pick. However, UCLA has got a shot to make a run. Number 2 seed UConn versus 15 U from UConn, one of the best teams in the nation. Obviously, they won back-to-back championships 3 years ago. So back, and then last year they did not win. Lost to the actual national champion, Florida. Funny enough. This is kind of just go ahead and fill this out here. Duke, blah 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 blah. This is not my official back. I'm kind of just showing you guys some stuff. Like imagine UConn here upsetting you. Imagine UCLA upsetting UConn here. That would be insane. I don't think it would happen. But Michigan State, Duke and Michigan State always play. Like Duke and Michigan State is one of the best March Madness matchups you can get because these teams just have played so much throughout the years. 2 great programs, 2 blue blood programs. It's always great to see them in March Madness. Let's go on. Now it's funny enough, Duke is the number 1 seed overall, but look at this gauntlet that they have. They got Duke, St. John's, Kansas, Louisville, Michigan State, and UConn in this bracket. This is a lot of juggernauts and March Madness teams that are normally really, really good. This is a tough bracket. Like if Duke has one bad game, they're out. And Gumba, like if Gumba doesn't get healthy enough in time, they're out. So they got a lot of tests ahead of them. But champion teams are made through tough tests. So maybe it'll work out for them. South side, we got Florida, 1 seed versus Prairie View A&M. Florida coming off the national championship. The defending national champions have had a very successful season. Did not win the SEC this year, but very successful. They have 2 big-time players down low, as well as some decent guard play. Florida did play Duke this year at home, and Duke won. That was a great matchup. Be cool to see them play again. Clemson and Iowa. This is one of those tops up. Clemson has had a decent year. Last year they were a 5 seed, lost to McNeese, a 12 seed, by like 30 points, the most embarrassing fashion. That was an insane game. Actually, that head coach went to NC State, and they were one of the first 4 games in which Texas beat them at the last seconds. That was a great game. But this is a toss-up here. Both are really, really good teams. Iowa does have a lot of players. Remember St. Louis from last year. that coach left. I believe it's St. Louis. That coach left. Has gone from Division II to St. Louis. Not St. Louis. Is it St. Louis? I can't remember. But he's gone Division II to St. Louis, Division I now to Iowa. Brought a lot of his players, and they are a dangerous team. They have one of the best, most underrated guards, in my opinion. He's a little white boy. His last name Spurts. He is an offensive juggernaut. You never know right here. You really don't. This could be an upset coming. McNeese, team that had an upset last year, to play in Vandy. Well, they're going to do it this year. Nebraska, looking for their very first March Madness win ever. They're a Power 5 team that have never won March Madness, never won a March Madness game ever. Look for them to do it this year, maybe even make a little bit of a run. North Carolina, another team that has lost their star player. One of the top freshmen of the year. I've already forgot his name. They did definitely a different team without him. They're still a good team, but they're definitely a different team without him. VCU, if you don't remember, last time they were 11 seed, they went to the Final Four with Shaka Smart way back in the day. They were a prolific mid-major team that shaked up the mold, but I don't think they're going to do it this year. The Carolina's still a good team. Still a lot of good guard play. I don't think they will be equipped to do a deep run without their star player. St. Mary's and A&M. St. Mary's is one of those teams that always gets to March Madness, always a decent seed because they play in one of the most bum conferences in America, the play with Gonzaga, and they never do good in March, ever. They maybe win 1 or 2 rounds, and that's it. So, personally, I really want A&M to win this game. Like, I'm not a big St. Mary's or Gonzaga fan, as you can tell. And then Houston. National run-up last year. Played Florida. We're up against Florida big time, and then funny enough, in the Final Four last year, Duke was up by them by big time at the last couple minutes. Houston came storming back. Next game, championship game, Houston's up big time late in the game, and then Florida comes storming back. Kind of ironic. Let's kind of just fill this out here. I really want to pick this upset, you guys. That would be an awesome upset, but Florida is just such a tough team to play. Nebraska and Vandy, that's kind of a toss-up. Vandy has had a crazy. No one would have suspected Vandy to be a 5 seed and be in the SEC championship game this year. They are absolute Cinderella story. They've had a lot of success in sports lately. It's kind of a toss-up to me. I've never really watched a lot of either of these teams play. Why not give it to Nebraska, give them a little run to the Sweet 16, their first time winning it. I think this is a tough call right here. How do I go to the other side? There we go. Other side. Arizona. Number 1 seed. At one time, we're the number 1 team in the nation for a long, long time. One of the best teams in the nation. This is an absolute juggernaut of a team. They could definitely win a championship. I would say of the teams that we see here, we'll do that at the end. But they're playing Long Island, Villanova, and Utah State. Now, Villanova was once a 2-time national champion. They have not had a lot of success since their head coach left. I've already forgotten his name as well. Back in the tournament, they're normally in the tournament. I think last year, the year before, they weren't. They're in NIT. But normally in the tournament, and normally a decent pick. So I bet a lot of people are picking Villanova here, but they have definitely fallen off the map in terms of they used to be a blue blood juggernaut for a lot of years. They've definitely fallen off. Wisconsin and High Point. This is honestly, for me, this is the surefire upset 12 seed that you want to pick. I do not think Wisconsin is a good team. I think High Point has a chance to win it here. Sure. Arkansas. I think Arkansas is a deadly, deadly team. They have the best guard in the nation, in my opinion, Acuff Jr. Can they beat Arizona? Yes. Will they do it? I just don't know, but they are a dangerous team. Final Four potential team right here. This would be a crazy upset. Let's go ahead and pick it because why not? Let's go crazy. BYU and Texas. BYU has arguably the best player in the nation, AJ Diasabuba. How the hell do you say his last name? But other than that, that's kind of it. Like, he is the key to their team. Like, they do not have that great of a team, in my opinion, outside of him. They've had games where they've a lot of high and lows. But they're playing Texas. Texas was one of those first 4 teams that had to play to even get in tournament. They beat NC State. They are a tough team. Now, they are turnover prone, but they are a tough team. This is a potential upset right here. Now, 6 seeds normally do pretty well against 11 seeds, but you never know. This could be an upset. let's go ahead and pick it. Shock the Nation. AJ gets sent out in the first round. Does not have like a lot of people probably picking BYU to go far and have him like score like 30 points a game and have him like tear up the tournament. But hey, let's go for an upset here. Gonzaga. Now they are a prolific team. Again, they play in a super weak conference, always a top 5 seed. I think last year, the year before, they were actually an 8 seed. They had struggled a bit, but they're always a really, really high seed. They've been very successful in March, despite having weak competition. But this year, I'm picking Texas, man. Texas is moving. But I haven't really watched a lot of Gonzaga basketball this year. I'm not really sure how good they are when compared to previous years. Miami, Florida, and Missouri. Miami, Florida under a new coach after their old-time coach. Again, forget his name. I do apologize. New coach has done wonders. Miami's had a great, great year. It's the first time, I think, actually in team history they've ever won 28 games or more. They've had a successful year. They are a 7 seed playing Missouri. Missouri's a tough team. Missouri has a former Duke player on their team who was their star player now, who's their best player. So it kind of probably was in his favor to leave Duke because he was a bench player. Now he's a star player. This one's going to be a tough game, but I like Miami to win this one. Number 2, Purdue versus Queens. Funny enough about this team. First year in Division 1, they made the tournament. They are going to actually merge with Elon next year. So this is their last chance to ever play as Queens. Is that North Carolina? I think. That would be an awesome upset. Cinderella story of Queens, their last time ever as a school to exist. That would be awesome, but I just don't see it. Honestly, I'm picking Miami for this upset here. Like, look, we got 11 and a 7. I've got Arkansas on Miami. What the heck is going on here, guys? Let's actually go down here, and I'm going to go ahead and say screw it. We're going to go full upset on this one just to have some fun. Not going to happen. Do not do this bracket. This is just kind of just little funs. Number 1, Michigan. First, Howard. Michigan has lost another big-time player. How would that affect them? St. Louis versus Georgia. I'm going to go with St. Louis, although they probably won't win. Texas Tech and Akron. Now, Texas Tech also lost one of the best players in the nation. JT Toppin probably could have been one of the top players in the entire nation. Definitely wouldn't have competed for the best player, the Naismith Award. They're still a really good team without him, but I do not think they can make a deep run. I think if they had JT Toppin with them, they can make a Final Four run for sure. But without him, I'm not too sure. This is a potential upset right here. Akron could pull it off. Bama, known for their three-point shooting, streaky and offensive power. With Nate Oates, way like back in the day, they were a juggernaut offensively. Again, haven't watched much of them. I'm assuming they're still probably the same play style of lighting up for 3. Let's go ahead and have, people sometimes, whenever people vote or pick against Texas Tech, they always bite them in the butt. So I personally would not vote against Texas Tech. I'm going to have, because remember, Texas Tech beat Duke. They're one of 2 teams entire season to beat Duke. That is North Carolina and them. So even without JT Toppin, they're still a great team. Tennessee and Miami of Ohio. Now, Miami of Ohio only 1 loss. They didn't win the conference tournament. And Bruce Pearl, former coach of Auburn, a legend in his own right, was arguing that Miami of Ohio does not deserve to be in the tournament. That Auburn should get in over them. Auburn is 1 win. I think they're either 16-17 or 17-16. Bottom of the barrel in the SEC. They obviously did not win the tournament. People were actually clowning him about it, that he's stupid, that he should not be on the air. Miami of Ohio deserves to be in it. They're playing 60 Tennessee. Assuming they're going to be a popular pick. Now, Miami, no one would be shocked if Miami, Ohio upset Tennessee, but no one also would be shocked if Tennessee beats them easily. Let's be real. Virginia, ACC team, 3 seed. They've had a great year. 1 second, guys. Anyways, Kentucky and Santa Clara. Now, Kentucky has had a very difficult year under Mark Pope. He is on the hot seat. They have been upset a lot in the past. This was not too bad of a pick to make. They have struggled a lot this year. A lot of ups and downs. You never really want to pick a team that's had peaks and valleys. Because in March Madness, if you Don't have a good game, you're out against anybody. Iowa State and Tennessee State. I think Iowa State is arguably the best 2 seed besides probably Houston. UConn's there. Purdue, but Iowa State is a dangerous team, a championship level team. That'd be crazy to see Miami Ohio pull up. Let's go ahead and do it. Now remember, more often than not, 1 seeds make the tournament, so do not trust what I'm doing here. But let's do Arkansas. Yeah, that's it. So actually, I think I have a picture of the. Last 4 in, NC State played Texas, SMU played Miami of Ohio. Miami of Ohio beat SMU pretty easily. Texas beat NC State last second win. First 4 out, Oklahoma, Auburn, San Diego State, and Indiana. I would have put all 3 of these teams in before Auburn. They did not deserve to be anywhere near the tournament. Let's be real. That's it. Probably do a week 1 or round 1, day 1 reaction soon. Now, March Madness is here. I'm really excited. Leave a like, enjoy the video, subscribe for more content, and don't forget to comment down below your bracket, your crazy predictions, crazy upset predictions, who you got win the championship, and then as we go along, how your bracket's doing. Appreciate all the support. As always, this is Z3 signing out. Stay frosty.